Hello, hello. What is up? What is happening? Welcome back to another episode with your girl Gal. Welcome to Level Up with Gal, and I am so excited to dive into another freaking episode today. So remember, in each and every episode, I'm going to bring down little by little tidbits of the freaking trauma I've been through, the shit I've been through, and how I have been able to work through all of that to heal within so I can help you heal every little baby step, little by little in your freaking life. So let's dive in and talk about today's freaking topic. I'm so freaking excited to be back for another freaking episode. So first off, before we dive in, I want to ask you the question, how are you doing and feeling today? And pause for a moment and really think about that. So many times we ask somebody like how they're doing and they're, or they ask you and you're like, doing good. How about you? Like instantly we're like, yeah, good. But honestly, how are you really freaking doing? And acknowledge where you're at and how you feel. And then take it one more step further and ask yourself, why do you feel the way you do right now in this moment? Good, bad, in between, what's causing you to feel good, what's causing you to not feel so good. Let's freaking acknowledge it and acknowledge our journey and how far we freaking come and acknowledge ourselves. Okay. Take a moment and do that. And then we're going to dive in. It's so freaking important to check in with yourself every single day. How am I today? How am I feeling today? Am I feeling okay? Am I not? How come? What's causing me to feel a certain way? Am I disappointed? If I am, why? And acknowledge all of that. Journal it through if you want, or think it through, whatever feels right for freaking you. And then we're going to dive into today's freaking topic. And today I want to talk to you about grieving. What do I mean by that? And letting things go. Okay. Grieving a certain things has happened to you, situations, maybe jobs or a job that you decided to leave, or maybe you got fired. Either way, it doesn't matter. And also grieving and letting go of your old identity. It can be really hard to let go of routines, patterns, structure that you're used to having. And when you start to do something again and again and again, and you're used to it, then you change it, it can be very sad. It can be a huge, like it can be rocky for you to go through that. And it's changing your life and your patterns, your habits, your structure, and everything's all over the place. And it's stressful. It can be very stressful. So today we're going to talk about it. We're going to dive in and like how you can manage that and deal with that. So it doesn't have to feel so stressful. But the other thing that's super important is if you're going through a personal development journey, or you've been going through one, or you're just starting one, it doesn't matter. You're going to change and you're changing, or you change, you're going through a transformation or gone through a transformation. You're about to go through the next one, right? So through personal development, you're constantly growing, you're constantly changing, you're constantly leveling up into the next level and letting go of pieces of you that you thought were part of your identity. And you're going to have to, as you're working through that and letting that go, it can feel sad. It can feel daunting. It can feel heartbreaking because if you've been a certain way, you always hear people say this, right? I've been this way my whole life. If you've been a certain way for a long time in your life, and then you're letting go, you're shedding off. Like I like to think of it shedding off, like dead skin. Shedding off, it sounds kind of weird, but you know what I mean? Shedding off the old you, right? It can be sad because you're so used to being that person. So for a long time, I used to say, I'm 0 to 100. Okay. You guys know this, like I'm all in or not at all. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to go 100 or I'm not going to do it at all. That was a freaking excuse that I used to always say. So I want to have to set boundaries. I want to have balance in my freaking life because that's more work. Like, think about it. It's easier to say I'm all in or not at all because it's like, it's a more simple decision than to do the work and find the actual balance in between your life. Okay. And a lot of times I would use that when I like party, like I'm all in, yo, let's go, YOLO, let's have a good time and party it up. instead of I can't just go chill and have two drinks and, be responsible because I want to go all in kind of type of thing. Okay. It's just example. Or if I'm gonna start a new job, I always like to go all in, and give it my all, even if it starts to kill me, because I'm so all in that I give all these hours and I do all this work, and I'm not gonna find a balance. Work-life balance used to be very, very difficult for me, or anything, because if I committed to something, because like I always said, she's all in, she's all freaking in, or nothing at all. And if you're listening to this and you can relate to that, I want you to ask yourself the question. Is it because you're not willing to actually find balance in your life? Is it because you don't want to put in that work? Because I'd be willing to bet 9 out of 10, it's gonna be that you don't put in the work, because that's how I was too. Like, to be honest, I'm like, no. Like, I don't want to put in the extra work and find the balance. That's too stressful. That's too much work, but it's really not. The truth is, when I started putting in the work to find the balance in my life, oh my gosh, things are so much better. Like, just having that balance, and I just was so much less stressed, and I was less frustrated, and it worked out so much better, like all around for me personally. But I had to learn to actually shut off the old me that as part of my identity, that I said I was just always this way. I'm always this way. Or I said something and I kept saying it so many times. So I think people think I'm this way now. And if I change, they're going to know that I'm not that person anymore. Oh my gosh. Right. Like, are people still going to like me? And I'm shedding off pieces of me that I no longer am. And you're able, let me say it this way. It's okay for you to allow yourself to change. We're going to go through things in our lives, and our perception is going to change, the way we see the world, our decision making, the things that used to be super important to us, maybe not as important anymore. And things are going to happen in our lives. Allow yourself that space to change, and it's okay. But for a long time, it took me, it was hard for me to allow myself to let go of certain pieces of me, because I always said I was this way and I was this way and I was this way. But you don't always have to be that way. And you don't always, it's okay to let go of those pieces. And the other thing, I want to talk about is grieving, like letting those pieces go. And it's okay to feel sad, because that was part of your life, maybe for years and years and years, like it was mine. And it's okay to grieve when you leave a job, because your routines change now. The people that you used to see all the time, if you went into work, you're not going to see anymore. Or those connections that you made, you're not going to have anymore. And sometimes, you keep those connections and you're still friends with people. But majority of the time, when you leave a job, and you don't have that in common anymore, especially if you became friends because of work, you don't stay in touch. That's just what normally happens. And it can be sad. And I'm speaking of experience. So when I decided to leave my day job, it was my choice and everything like that. It was like a rough patch for me personally, because it was like I was going through a grieving process, because I was like, I won't see those people anymore. My whole routines changed. My structure has changed. I'm learning new routines now. I'm learning to do different things with my day, my schedules, everything's different. The people I see are going to be different now. The people I interact with all the time, it's totally different. And at first I wasn't sure why. I was like, what's going on? Like, why do I feel this way? And, it was my decision. Do I actually want to be there still? No, I don't. But it was more of a change of everything, change of the everything I was used to for years and years and years. So if you go through something similar like that, give yourself that time and space to grieve, to mourn losing certain people in your life, and what the schedule that you were used to. Even if you're going to a more flexible schedule and everything, it still takes time to adjust. So it can feel very sad. And for me, it felt like kind of sad, because I was so used to a certain schedule, so used to talking to certain people. And remember, this is all by choice. And you may be going through something that wasn't your choice. Maybe you got let go at a job. Maybe they were doing cutbacks. but the feelings are still the same because you're not going to be with those people anymore. And I don't talk to those people anymore. And things are going to feel different. So allow yourself to grieve and let those pieces and yeah, let the pieces that has happened that you're letting go. I think that makes sense. Yeah, let that all soak in and then let yourself let it go. And it's okay. And it's going to take time. Healing takes time. It's like when you have a cut, right? It doesn't heal immediately. It's going to take a couple days to slowly heal and time to heal the wound. And it's like an open wound that you have. Even if it was by choice, it's going to feel like an open wound that you're just letting yourself and allowing yourself to feel those emotions and to let it go and know that you made a decision. Maybe you left because you got a better opportunity too, and you made a decision to better your life, but that doesn't mean that you may not still be sad, or you might be super happy, but your schedule and your life is still shifting and is still changing. So remember that it takes time to shift gears. So allow yourself that time to mourn, to grieve, and slowly let all that go and welcome the new energy and the new exciting things in your life and the new stuff that can help you grow and level up. And remember the reasons why you left what you did, or even the reasons why you're changing, you're continued your personal development journey and why you're transforming, right? Even though it's like hard to let go of pieces of us that we've been so used to, that we tie to our identity, these stories that we tie to our identity, who we are, and oh my gosh, or we feel like a different person now, But remember why you started on this journey in the first place, right? For me, was so I can help other people. And as I gone down this journey, I have learned that this journey not only is about helping other people, it's about me allowing myself to help myself so I can heal the wounds that are open, the wounds that I forgot were even open because for so long I said those are shut, they were closed, and everything is coming back to the surface, and allowing myself to work through that. And as I work through each wound, and I learned to heal them and I learned to work through that, I am helping other people, giving them tips and how to help them work through what they're going through. And it's all started because I wanted to start to change. I wanted to change to better myself so I can better other people. So as you go down a personal development journey, you're going to learn so much about yourself, and you're going to learn like, wow, how did I used to think that, and then you're going to learn new things and have all these aha moments. And remember, as you're having all these aha moments and you're changing and transformation, all this exciting stuff, there's still pieces of you that are falling off of you, that you're like beliefs that you no longer believe, and you have new beliefs. And for me, I wasn't always very confident, but if I held on to that girl who was insecure and not confident and had low self-esteem, then I can't rise on this side, and be confident and empowering and driven and motivating to help other people the way I want to. So I want you to realize that if you don't let go of those old pieces of you on the other side, like the insecure, not confident girl that I used to be, it'll be very hard for me to rise higher at a higher frequency on the other side of the complete opposite. And so I had to learn to let those pieces go, work through those stories and trauma, let that go, grieve that, so I'm no longer that girl, and allow the new me to shine through. And each time you go through transformation, it's going to feel like, oh man, it's happening again. Like, there you go, I'm shutting off more of me, and they're all part of my identity, these stories, and allow yourself to do that. And each time you change a job, you go through those emotions again, like, oh man, I really like some of these coworkers, or oh man, some of them I didn't like, it just depends. Or some I won't miss so much, but some people like really impacted you, and it's going to make you a little sad that you won't get to see them anymore. Like there's a handful of old coworkers that I miss. I don't get to see anymore. They really impacted my life. Like one of my coworkers, I have worked with her for like 15 years, at two different companies, and she's become like one of my good friends, and we're still in contact. but still, it was still me grieving and mourning that I'm not going to see her every day anymore. And I have this other old coworker, like, we used to work out together, and that was so much freaking fun. So I miss seeing him all the time. We're still in contact, but it's just not the same anymore. It has changed. So if you've gone through something similar or going through something similar, allow yourself that time to grieve that and mourn your loss, and then continue moving forward. It sometimes feel kind of like when you lose somebody, you're sad and you're mourning them, even those people are still alive and they're still there. It's just, they're just not part of your life in the same way anymore. So I hope you found this episode helpful, and it helps you as you transition through things in your life, getting a new job, you start a new relationship, and you're in the meantime healing from your old relationship and learning what you want out of your new relationship, or transforming on an individual level, and you're shedding off old pieces of you, welcoming new pieces, developing every single day, and allowing yourself to evolve and change. And in every piece, in every step of our life, there's change, and change can be scary, but it can also be very, very exciting. And what comes with change is, a lot of adjustments. And when you're adjusting and letting stuff go, it can sometimes feel like it's heartbreaking. So remember to let yourself feel the way you do, because you have to feel it to heal from it, and let that stuff go and welcome the new you. Maybe you want to change your hair color, freaking do it. Maybe you want to do some kind of like big statement, something to remember this moment. When I first started my personal development journey, and I got into this program that I wanted to get into so freaking bad, I was so freaking excited. And a way for me to remember that moment and to do something kind of wild was I decided to chop my hair really short, and then I decided to dye it like pink. And people were like, oh my gosh, are you crazy? But it was like something I wanted to do for me to remember that big moment. Of course, my hair's not pink anymore, but that's just an example. Or you can buy yourself something to remember it, or just journal about it, the date, the time, whatever, when it happened. Let yourself celebrate all the freaking exciting things in your life, and to mourn anything that you're letting go of your life. It's so freaking important to process things, to learn to let them go at your pace, but slowly, and don't suppress them, because the more you suppress them, the more you bottle up, and then eventually, boom, you're going to explode. And you do not want to go through that, because it is rocky to work through that. It is possible to work through that, but it is very, very hard. It's a lot harder, and it's rocky to work through that. So if you need anything, feel free to reach out to me at lifecoach@galpareno.com. Feel free to email me, or find me on Instagram at gal_Pareno, PERAINO. And please leave a review if you found this episode helpful. Share this episode on your social media accounts so we can impact more lives all around the freaking world, and continue to level up and grow in our everyday life, and continue healing our trauma, and continue to improve ourselves every single freaking day. Remember, there's only one you, so keep doing you, keep shining bright. I believe in you, and I love every single one of you, and I appreciate you so much for tuning in to freaking every episode. It means the freaking world to me. And if you really enjoy this, please share it, tag me, I'll share it. Reach out to me if it triggered anything in you, or you found it helpful. Feel free to send me a message, tell me your thoughts, or email me on any of the platforms. I am here to help you level up in your life in the best way freaking possible. I love every single one of you, and I will catch you in the next freaking episode.